Welcome back to Football Coach, episode number 11. We skipped ahead to the end of our off season, so our 4 sessions through that one. We're at the final session of it now. Luckily, our training, which we only get 6 per session, so 24 in all. Luckily, this last one, we got 5 out of 6 with the bonus because we were having a terrible rate. 2 of the sessions, we only got 2 of 6 to be successful. We had a better than 50% chance on all 24. Grand total ended up being 13. And of course, until it actually happens, the target's going to continue to be win at least 2 games. Coach opinion can't drop much more. At some point, it's going to actually start to go up. We have a chance for $6 million in bonuses this season. Rush for 170 plus yards in at least 1 game. That is asking a lot, but we did average about 100 per game last season, so it's certainly not impossible. Where it's hold opponents to less than 460 yards per game. We were still over 500 last year, we finally got it below 500. Last year was the first time where we held opponents below 500 yards, but only just. It was in the 490 range, might have been 489. So we're not that far off, but we still have an incredibly difficult schedule yet again this year, so that will be a pretty difficult bonus to achieve. And of course, the negotiation will cost me the coach integrity, and I'm just not willing to spend on that. But taking a look at our roster, so we have a 77 again. We've for offensive talent, the defensive talent has pushed up to a 78, which at the moment is ranked 71st. It's not last. Our defense is not last, and it's the best it's been. We have a quarterback play and rushing skill that is lacking. We have a redshirt sophomore as our quarterback. We have 3 years to look forward, but it's going to take at least a year before we start to see him get to the level we need him to be at, as he's only a 75 or a 76 right now. Pass protection is not great either. Offensive line's got issues, so we're going to have a real hard time. The run blocking is okay, but the receiver skill is the alternative one. So offense is going to struggle a bit to move the ball. Defensively, looking better. Pass rush, run stop, higher than last year by a little bit. Man coverage is like a point higher than last year, where zone coverage was an 80 or an 81 last year. Tackling, though, did drop by, I think, a point this season. We did graduate quite a few linebackers that were important to us. So there was a number of defenders that graduated, maybe 6. But field goal kicking and punting have taken a big drop this year, where kick and punt return has taken a big climb this year. We're up to a 2.64 average, just 2 1-stars left on the roster, and we have 3 starters on each side of the ball that are in that 80-plus category, but it's far from perfect. But just 20% of the rosters are senior, just 17 of them this year. Got a lot of guys out of California, Florida, or Texas. We have 55% of our starters are seniors, though. So that's a fair number. That's a fair number of guys that will need replacing in the next season. 8 juniors. But here's the big difference, right? We have a freshman. That's a starter. And we have 4 sophomores. That's a starter. That's definitely down to recruiting. Everything in the first few years was mostly seniors and some juniors as starters. So a roster breakdown. This is that one area where it's going to be an off year for us, but we're definitely headed in that right direction, where we've gotten so much younger there. Running back, just 1 guy is going to be graduating. We got a lot of seniors, a lot of juniors here, but we do have 1 of them that will be redshirting this season. We've really improved the wide receiver position. For one, we're spread pretty well across the classes. Only 1 senior this year. He's not even our top receiver. And we are getting stronger. That's kind of the first position that we've really pushed in the right direction. That and quarterback. But quarterback, the benefit of the pushing in the right direction has not taken place just yet. By next year, it'll start to show, as our starter will be much higher in the 70s. He had a really poor development year, unfortunately, after a tremendous freshman into redshirt freshman year. with really good growth. His redshirt freshman into starting sophomore year was terrible. We gained plus 1 point in training, and he only gained like plus 2 points in off-season development. I was expecting him to be as good as our starter last year. I was expecting him to be a 77 or better this season. So a little disappointing that we didn't at least pick up where we left off, but he should be better next year. I would expect him to be about an 80 next year as a junior. Tight end, definitely a position going in the right direction. Last year was the first time we even had a starter over a 70. We were at a 73. We now have a 78. So definitely getting stronger and deeper at tight end, but we need some young guys this season, or at least one of them anyway. We do have 4 senior offensive linemen and lots of juniors. We've been very active in getting junior college guys or getting the transfers. The reason is that offensive line, you have 5 of them in your starting 22. Mathematically, it's the position with the most players active within it. So recruitment wise, everybody else is recruiting more actively for offensive linemen than any other position. And the breadcrumbs that we are getting left with, since we can't out recruit others, has really, really been lacking quality. But we do have 4 younger guys this year. One of them, as a redshirt freshman, is a 68 overall already. We also have a 65 overall true freshman. So those 2 are going to be important guys for us going forward. And amongst this junior class, a couple of these guys are just coming in either as transfers or as junior college entries that are going to be able to redshirt this season. So that whole group will not progress as seniors. Garcia will be a part of it. Newton is going to be a part of everything. But outside of that, right, there's your first 5. There's your backups. We'll get 4 backups there. I'll make sure that Rowe is in over Hutchins or Butler so that we can get them that red shirt. So we'll be able to at least keep them for that additional year. They'll still have 2 years to be able to play for us, not counting this one. Kicker's a bit of a problem, but we've got a redshirt freshman who's going to be the guy over Gales. So at least there's that. He'll grow into the position. 74 is not that bad. D-line, a little bit all over the place. Our best guy, one of our weaker ones. Our second best guy, some of our weaker ones. Our third best guy, and tied 4th best guy. So we're getting better in that position as well. I think we're going to see a lot more guys, at least a couple of them next year, 80 plus on that D-line. Linebackers, 1. Good, strong, outstanding. And again, a little high on juniors, but that's kind of a regular thing for us as we've been able to recruit junior college transfers a little bit more frequently than other positions. There's less attention on those players. They want to get the good high potential freshman, or they want to get the big transfer. Junior college flies under the radar a little bit more, giving us a little bit better chance to keep after them. Corner, good core this year, but we're going to be in trouble for next year. If I can get Clemens to redshirt this season, that'll give us 3 guys in that redshirt junior class next year. So we'll get at least 2 years out of that group, but we're going to see a bit of a drop-off for sure going into the next season, as you would assume that at least a couple of these guys will be a 75 plus, but none of them will be where that group is at. And safety, we've made some good progress there. We've only got 2 guys this year set to graduate, and then we're into guys that have at least 2 years or 3 or 4 years of eligibility coming up through the woodwork and are just a little bit behind them. But of course, we did have somebody last season who was an 86 in that position, but barely played. Like, he got injured, what was it, week 2? And played with a minor injury for about 2 weeks, but it knocked him down to not even being anywhere near the best safety. He took a big hit in ability, and then he ended up with a major injury that lasted right up until the last couple weeks of the season. So I think it affected him for about 9 weeks, ruled him out entirely for about 7 or 6 weeks. So we didn't really get the benefit of our best player a year ago in our 86 overall safety. This year we pretty similar, and overall about 1 point better. Not too many seniors that are going to be leaving us and hurting us, but here we are again. Here we are in that scenario once again where it's going to be another struggle. However, defense was ranked 71st. Like, we've actually made some progress there. Others are struggling to get recruits as well. So it seems like the gap from the top of the league to the bottom of the league is growing, because for us, we're kind of stable, right? 77 a year ago, 77-78 this year. Like, that's not drastically better. We had 75-78, we had 80-76 in the first year, something like that. So yeah, we lost that offense, but those were all seniors. But really, it seems like others are coming down to us. Nobody was below an 80 in year 1 in anything besides us. And year 2, I think only one team had a rating below an 80 besides us, whether it was offense or defense. And all of a sudden, we've got a 78 defense that's better than 7 squads. So the bottom end of teams are getting worse because they are losing out on recruits and they're not able to keep up with replacing them. So we actually are headed in the direction of picking up some wins, even if we aren't actually improving our ratings much, if at all. If we can maintain consistent almost 80 ratings, I think we could actually start getting that couple wins a season. But of course, it's really hard to win with a schedule like this. I mean, it's ranked team after ranked team for most of it, but we do get Washington State at home. Utah's not going to be an easy one at home. Arizona on the road is definitely one of the weaker teams. Arizona State on the road, and Hawaii on the road. So 3 of our 4 games that there's any sort of chance. The others are definitely no chance. I mean, all but Utah among the others are ranked right now, with USC at number 5 and Alabama at number 3 and Penn State at number 4. Right, we are playing 3 of the top 5 teams in the country in the preseason rankings, and we're playing 7 ranked opponents, at least according to preseason rankings this season. And Utah's got to be pretty dang close to those, or you would suspect they would be close to that top 25 themselves. But the 4 winnable games, 3 of them are on the road. So I don't have high expectations for this year, but it shows that the bottom end is getting lower while we're not. We are inching our way forward at the moment. And so this could be the year that we get our first win. At this point, it still feels fairly unlikely. It's actually the first time that I've finally had to step in. I've had to watch, be careful, but it's the first time that I'm going, well, wait, no, hold on a second. We had a freshman who was going to be the last one on the wide receiver depth chart. True freshman. Meanwhile, there's a guy with the exact same ratings as a redshirt sophomore that has terrible potential. We're going to let him play. And the redshirt freshman, who's just a hair behind on ratings, is going to slip into the depth chart next. First game of the season really could have gone worse. 33-3 to Ohio State is not bad. Defensively, at least. Offensively, 3 points. But 2 injuries, a minor one to a defensive lineman, and a massive injury to Bryce Woodward, who would be a 72 when healthy. So not one of our key guys, but that's definitely going to be a miss as he's out for the season, and that's major injury. We do have the true junior on the offensive line, who I was thinking about forcing into a redshirt scenario And then I looked at the player and went, oh, wait, no, we're not going to do that. He's a 72 overall F potential. He's just not going to improve. He is what he is. We're going to get 2 years of him, period. Good enough to play a little bit. He's not going to feature as a major guy. That was the big risk one that we were trying out. And very quickly he became not much of a factor. Got to have at least a little bit of potential, especially as we do get better. I mean, as bad as things are going to be, we have 5 decent offensive linemen this year. I mean, we do, for the first time, have a decent offensive line. Nielsen, number 5, that last starter, he's better than the third guy on the offensive line every other season before now, even though we've still got a ways to go to be able to do, anything proper. It's something. I keep trying to put this one off, but the name just keeps popping up everywhere. Herbert, defensive lineman. All right, so I got a name drop. I've been trying not to. I'll make it quick here. Justin Herbert, San Diego Chargers quarterback, went to University of Oregon, grew up in Eugene. I went to University of Oregon. I was coaching football at the middle school level. He was not on my team, but Justin Herbert was an opposing quarterback, and we played them at Autzen Stadium, as in the Oregon Ducks football stadium, on a Saturday when they were away during the season. The whole league got to play games at Autzen. He tore us up. They won. They won that game. They went on undefeated and won the A division. We won the B division. We had a good year. It was a nice season, but it was interesting that I did coach against one young Justin Herbert at that time. Wow. Oh my goodness, we almost did it against Stanford. Stanford, 18th in the country, and it took overtime for them to beat us. 23-20. They've got a 7 in prestige. That win could be coming this year. It really could be. 5 tackles for loss by Sidney Freeman. We had a fumble. Abel Morgan had 8 catches. We held Stanford to 129 yards rushing and forced 4 turnovers. Heck of a job by the defense. They did their job. The offense couldn't. Well, heck of a job by the offense. That's the most points we have scored since the first year. Keep an eye on promises 2 games into the season. 64 passes and rush attempts already in just 2 games for our quarterback. It looks like we're going to pretty easily get that one. It was the other one that was a little concerning, but a really good development jump by the redshirt sophomore receiver, who's getting 68% of the snaps as it is right now. He's definitely not the main guy, but he's easily getting the 50%, at least through 2 games. Record-wise, Arizona State seemed like we should be able to compete with them, and they are a low-prestige kind of program, so it seemed like we should be able to compete with them. But I saw the ratings, and they were definitely a lot better than their record was showing. It was only a couple games into the season, so they ended up actually winning comfortably. They did better than Ohio State. 45-3. We lose on that one. We do have a new injury, but it's a minor injury. It's a 77, get knocked down to a 70 for the next few weeks. Again, sign of the progress. Alabama, top 5, still undefeated, and we only lose 51-17, which is not a close game. But that means we managed to put points on the board 3 times, including 2 touchdowns. The better teams, we were getting about 1 score, sometimes less. The weaker teams, we were getting 2 scores, and we were averaging that out to 1 score over the season. Last year, we got it up to 9 points. It was actually only 8.5 points a game. I need to see where we're at so far. 4 games into the season against 3 pretty good teams. One of those touchdowns was a kick return. Yeah, right now, 11 points per game. Definitely a step in the right direction, up from 8.5. The opponent points per game, down to 38. Neither one of these are last place. Yards per game, not last place. Opponent yards per game, not last place, but 498. It must have still been over 500 last season if we were last place, unless, again, the gap, we did mention the gap's going up. Another tough one with UCLA, though, this week. Cal looking pretty good so far this season anyway, with a 3-1 record before we finally get into our rivalry week with Hawaii here soon enough. So at 0-4, we're bound to be 0-6 heading into that game. After what happened with Stanford, you feel like, hey, maybe, just maybe we have a chance. Herbert and Moss are going to get back to full strength here soon. And of course, Woodward's just lost for the season. Too bad he doesn't have a red shirt to gain. He's just lost the season. They don't have medical red shirts here like you can apply for in real life. A week 1 injury for the entire season would be normally an easy selection for a medical. UCLA beat us 41-10, but again, I'm feeling a lot better about how the team's performing, and we've got 3 players out of nowhere. There was no may commit soons anywhere on our list, but 3 players are ready to commit. We have a tight end with a 57 overall B potential, and he will sign with us. I just offered him this week. We've got a D lineman, 64 with B+. He will sign with us. And we have a 69 overall already, but only D potential offensive lineman. With as many guys as we have going out, we do need at least a couple junior college guys. So I do have a couple offers in for these older guys, and he will sign with us as well. So that one's not a great pickup, but we need to help fill out those roster spots a little bit at that position. Major need. Amazingly, our worst loss of the season so far has come against Cal, but they are actually rated really well, 83-83. A little surprising that they are not ranked, but I think that has a little something to do with a lack of prestige. 59-10, the final on this. No new injuries, and Cole Moss has recovered from his. So I've been a little more cautious this season with trying to rest guys after what happened to our safety last year, right? The 86 overall had a minor injury. We were still playing him, and then it became a major injury. I don't know if there's a correlation or if it was just by chance, but I'm guessing there was probably a correlation there. And so I'm a little more careful. If a guy is close to the bottom end of the depth chart following a minor injury, I'm more inclined, if there's somebody of similar quality, to let them play. And just being careful to redshirt anybody we can redshirt besides, the one guy with the F potential. But 3 more players ready to commit. This is clearly going to be for us because I literally just gave him a offer this week and nobody else was in talking to him, period. It's another one of those to help out the line for next year, knowing how many graduates there are going to be. After that, though, besides a potential transfer, I'm out of the junior college market for offensive linemen. I'm going to look for a lot of high school guys. And speaking of, here's 2 high school guys with B potential, but low current ability. Last year, we were able to avoid these. This year, we're getting them picked up really quick. And I think one of the big things was last year, I waited really late to offer scholarships to those types of players, but this year I'm pulling the trigger a little bit quicker. I'm not sure why it is that I'm doing that, but we are making quicker work through the market so far this year. Big day for what is our weakest starting quarterback that we've had. He got the most passing yards per attempt at nearly 10, and we got 134 yards through the air for one of the receivers in Peterson. Part of what's helping him out, of course, is having good receivers who can catch the ball. It's still up to him to actually get it to them, though, and he seemed to have done the job there. In fact, we had 5 20-plus yard plays in the game. Even though we only scored 10 points, we seemed to move the ball a lot better. Amazingly, though, they scored 59. Not quite sure how we balance that out, but we'll take it. Consolation prize for what was our worst game of the season. Looks like it really wasn't, statistically, our worst game. Just final score. We're halfway through the season. We've seen some surprises as we look at the divisional standings. Oregon on top with California up there with them. Still not ranked for California, but one spot outside of the rankings. And Oregon only ranked 16th. Oregon State, no surprise. Colorado might have had quality for a while, but no surprise now as they're down to an 80-78. But Washington, especially with an 84-82, to be 0-4 in conference is shocking. They're number 23. Their offense is ranked 23rd, and yet they are struggling pretty badly in the conference right now. But as for our division, UCLA on top at 5-1, Arizona at 4-1. A little surprising there. They're 14th. So 3 Pac-14 teams in the top 25. But Arizona State doing well. Utah, like you would expect, close to the top 25. But Hawaii, who were 0-4, are now 2-4. They've won 2 straight games. They've got a pretty decent defense with an 80 rating there, a 55. But the big surprise is USC, next to last in the divisional standings, 2-2 in conference, hence the divisional standing, why they're ranked where they are, 4-2 overall. But really surprising for a team that's got a good offense and an elite top 10 defense. I mean, they're better than UCLA in terms of those very similar ratings. But with injuries, we're back down to that 77. We're still 71st, though, in that defensive ranking. But it's going to be tough against Hawaii. -3 offense versus their defense. -1, or realistically, it should be balanced. Their offense versus our defense. It's not going to be impossible to beat them. But their defense holds teams fairly well. Middle of the road, where their offense does not do well. But something's got to give. And that you would expect us to get 15, 20 points. And them to get about 25. We'll see. Can we go 15 to 25 and lose by 10? At this point, I would actually take it because Hawaii has absolutely hammered us all 3 seasons so far. So their offense is at a disadvantage to our defense. But our offense is comfortably at a disadvantage to their defense, and our offense is a little bit worse off than their offense. So the matchup certainly favors them. 11-point underdogs. I think we were 10.5 a year ago and lost by like 40, 50 points. We are on the road too for this game, so that's not going to help us out much. Oh, here we go. Matchup history. 45-0 last year, and that was at home that we lost 45-0. It was 31-7 in year number 1. We lost 37-10 in year number 2. So we have not finished a game within 3 scores. 24 was the closest we've been. That was the first time I've actually won a coin toss. We're going to defer to the second half. Fingers crossed that our defense will begin with a stop. Got a pretty large and pretty loud crowd to get this one started. They get a decent return, but we're going to hold them on first down. We did focus on stopping their pass game. They're a pass heavy, so we stopped on I focused on deep passes because they're going to play 8 in the box and only have 3 deep. So I'm going to focus on deep passes and try to nail some big plays and get some scores that way. But they are marching down the field on this one. Trying to think whether I was trying to stop the run. I had to go do some other work for a little bit. I stopped for like 2 hours before getting into the game. Well, it's 3rd and 10 here. This is a great opportunity to hold them to a field goal attempt. And with a sack on 3rd and long, we've probably put them out of field goal range. It's a 47-yard attempt, but they're going to go for it anyway. And their kicker nails it. 47 yards. That's a pretty long kick for really bad programs. For big-time programs, you can see them going for 47 yards. But, yeah, for a weak program, that's an impressive make. They get on the board, but at least it was not a touchdown. We hold them to a very long field goal. 2nd and 9. Deep passes are going to be a thing as we focused on it, and their defense crowding the box the way they are. I think we're going to be more inclined to go for some deeper passes more regularly as we get a first down here. Halfback stretch goes backwards. Let's get off the outside zone. I don't want to take a couple. What do we have for run pass option? They're both short. RPO slant? Sure. Let's see what happens. 3rd and 13. We went for the run and lost 2 yards, which is why I don't want to run very much. And with an incomplete pass, we're going to have to punt. So a little, maybe a play call mistake there as much as anything. 3rd and 4. Oh, we didn't stop them. Another first down. 2nd and 10. 3rd and 5. Okay, 3rd and medium. 4th down, and they're going to punt. Good. Okay, we're in a dangerous spot, but at least we got it back. No bubble. Halfback stretch. That worked out. Let's go to the air again. Smash digs is one that's worked really well in practice, but not here. Slants middle. Okay, 3rd and short. Halfback off tackle. I like the play action on these occasions instead. Play action power read. And it works. It works. I've gotten a lot of 3rd down conversions that way by going to the air instead of the run when the defense is focused on the run. Here's that RPO slant we tried to run earlier. This time at least it gained something, 2 yards, but that halfback sweep weak is probably not going to help us move the ball right now. Let's get up into a tight end under. Oh, it's a fumble. We turn it over. Tight end. Keegan Donaldson fumbles the ball, and it's going the other direction. Just as we were looking like we could tie this thing up, it's gone rather sour quickly because they start the possession from midfield. But if we can get a stop here, it's 3rd and 3, and have them settle for a field goal attempt. For one thing, they might actually miss it this time. No, that's the end of the quarter, and they're approaching the red zone, and they're in there now. 18-yard pass on that. 2nd and goal. Incomplete pass. Touchdown run. A little bit of trouble now. Down 10 here early in the 2nd quarter. Play action. Comebacks does not work. You want the quick slants? No, that's a surefire. No good anyway. That was a guaranteed punt. We don't have the guys who can make the after catch yardage. 3rd and 11. Of course they get the big first down. 20 yards on the completion. 18 yards on the run. 3rd and 12. 4th down. Field goal defense is out, and this time they miss. That was our only chance to stay in the game, and that's going to help. 2nd and 9. We want to run again right up the middle. No, thank you. Shotgun. Empty tray. 4 verticals. Let's go deep. This is a good time for it. 2nd and 9. They're not going to expect it. Now they're going to expect it, but this time we get the completion. 23 yards as we head to the corner on that play. Another first down on the quick inside cut there, and 2nd and 11, 3rd and 10. We got the first. Tight end under. We went to the outside, to the sideline. This quarterback's doing a pretty good job for not having great ratings. He's having a pretty okay season. 1st and 10. Nice gain on first down there on the crossing play. 7 yards there. That's a first down. We are in the red zone. It's not 1st and goal. There's that silly RPO slant again. Quarterback power. I don't mind that play. 3rd and 8. I do mind this play, though. That's absolutely just giving in for the hashtags. That's 1 to the back of the end zone, and 3 guys coming across and 1 out in the flat. I like that opportunity. No go. But field goal. We're on the board. Back within a score. Approaching halftime. 3rd and 8. 4th and 13, we're going to get the ball back with plenty of time. And a good return there. Gets us right at midfield. Curls, yes. 2nd and 10. Jet sweep. Rough call, but let's try it. No. Deep shot. No, we gain nothing. Still 2:31 left, too. So they're going to get the ball back and get a chance. Can we shut them down and get it right back? Right now, it's looking like we could. A sack. The last couple drives, we've done really well. Interception. We've got the ball in really good field position with 1:53 to go. Why do you keep wanting to do this RPO slant? Play action wheel. I like it. No. Halfback sweep. No. Let's go for the play action dagger. Interception and a massive return. Uh-oh. 2nd and 8. We need to stop them for a field goal if we're going to have much of a chance in this game, and we can't. We're going to go into halftime down 17-3, and we throw an interception, give them another chance to score. 3rd and 10, though. At least we stop them on the first 2 plays. We stop them on 3, and they're going to kick a punt here instead of go for the field goal. With 13 seconds, though, it's going to be halftime. We're only down 14. Considering how bad our previous games have been against Hawaii, we're in better shape than we were, and we're going to start the second half with the ball, but I'm preferring to go to the air more than anything else, so we're going to go to the air more than anything else. There's a run that finally goes somewhere, and it gives us a manageable 3rd and 2, and we're going to go to the air instead, where I've had a lot more success on 3rd and short, passing the ball than I've had on 1st or 2nd down. Inside zone, okay, gives us a manageable 3rd and 2, but I do not like the halfback sweep. Weak. Inside zone's a better chance to move the ball, but we go backwards with it. Oh, come on. Now we do have to punt. At least we trap them in deep. But they get the first down. 2nd and 1, 1st and 10. They're moving the ball quickly. Finally, we hold them up with a negative play, but they still get the first down just barely and immediately get another first down. Now we get a negative play, 2nd and 13, 3rd and 8. Okay, field goal defense. We hold them. 20-3. I like it. Let's go. Let's go again. Okay, we're going deep. Pick six. Okay, well, that's game. 27-3. Let's get to the end. We tried. Final score is 30-3. We only got beat by 140 yards. Much more competitive. Not a massive blowout. The score was a little harsh compared to the flow of the game, but the turnovers hurt. The turnovers really hurt. We had 5 of them in the game. They had 2, but we had 5, and that's just ridiculous. That is absolutely, without a doubt, a killer. Same number of pass attempts, only minus 11 yards. Very competitive there, but on the ground just could not keep up with them. And for an air game that ended up almost identical, right? Exact same number of attempts, almost the same yardage. They had 16 first downs via pass. We had 11. That does not help. Really does not help. Trying to be that little bit closer. My hope was that we would get about 17 points today and hold them to, like, what was it? What did I say? 15-25 sort of range. I would have liked to have gotten a couple scores, couple of touchdowns in this game. And the 30 wasn't too far off from where we were. The pick 6 really being the difference on that one. We held them to field goals plenty of times, but offensively, we're still so weak. And we were on the road, making it that much harder. We're at 0-7 for the season. There are at least a couple more opportunities on the calendar to maybe do something, but it seems unlikely. We got the balance right. We did everything right in one game here in the first half of the season against a tough Stanford squad. They're 4-2. They've got an 83-85. They've got a top 10 defense, and yet we took them to overtime. We are getting closer. That was a game that if it was against Washington State or Oregon State, it would have been a win. So I think the first win, only a matter of time. It is coming. Hopefully we can get there before we've had 50 losses. We're now on 43 straight. Fingers crossed. We are getting closer. And like I said, we are getting competitive, and we're finally not dead last. Season 1, our offense was not dead last, but it was like 76th, 77th, wasn't it? And defense was dead last, and we've been dead last since. So this is the highest ranking combination we've ever had, even though it's not the best ratings we've had. Others are also getting worse. And so I'm confident that we are on the verge of that first win. But Hawaii, they've been pretty okay for a 2-star program. Colorado's starting to struggle. Colorado flipped, but very similar on the ratings. Utah's not great. Hawaii's definitely not great, though. That was our best chance for a win. But Colorado's flipped, almost the same. I don't know if we have Colorado on the calendar this year or not. We did last year, I know. Oregon State, not too much better. I think it's just a matter of time before we start winning the occasional game. Winning frequently, well, that's still some ways off. I think facilities still need to do some catching up before that's going to happen. I think once we get to maybe 25 in facilities, a few more seasons, we might just have a chance. Washington State's only got a 24, so we are getting closer to being competitive, but they also have 4 stars for their prestige. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm a Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.